Another month, another episode for Woocommerce, and about 2 months ago I created this video to show you how to customize a single product page using Kadence's hook elements without meddling with any codes or needing any builder plugins like WooBuilder or Elementor. And I received quite a few comments asking if they can turn this design into a template so that all products created, be it current or future products, will be able to get this design layout without doing any manual customization in the future. The answer is yes. And knowing this knowledge I'm about to share with you, you can create different design layouts for products in different categories. So in one category of products, you can have one design layout, and in another category, you can have another design layout. So there is no limit to the customization for your WooCommerce single product page. Hopefully with these cool customization options, it can help you build trust with your customers and increase your sales conversion rate. So if you think this is something you want to implement on your WooCommerce store, and if you find my tutorial helpful, I hope you can give me your support by smashing that thumbs up button. It will really help this video reach out to others who needs this information and help out a small content creator like me. If you have done that, thank you. I really appreciate it. Anyway, if you're new to my channel, I share a lot of WordPress and online business related content. I hope to do at least 1 or 2 WooCommerce content every month. So if you want to learn more about WooCommerce using Gutenberg, then subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. I have quite a bit of WordPress tutorials on the channel already. I've done some page speed optimization case studies, quite a bit on affiliate marketing. So I hope to continue to provide more value to you as a subscriber. And that is my way of saying thank you. Okay, enough about the intro. Let's get straight into the tutorial. So as always, I like to have the live page side by side with the WordPress editor. I don't like to depend so much on the visuals from the WordPress editor. Anyway, as you can see on the right is the single product page we have created with the previous tutorial. Again, if you would like to follow along with this tutorial, I highly recommend that you watch the previous video as I've shared how I created a page like this step by step. However, if you don't want to do that, just try and understand the concept behind this tutorial. It's all about using dynamic content, hook elements, and custom views, and I feel that in all tutorials related to dynamic content, I have to share this short briefing about how dynamic content works. Because if this is your first time hearing about dynamic content, or you have heard about it but you don't really understand what it is, you are going to struggle if I don't share this with you. And if you have seen this before, I hope you understand. Feel free to skip ahead using the timestamps in the description. So here we go. Now, every website on the internet will have a database. If you are writing content and you save it, it will be stored on the database as a draft. And when you publish the content, it will be stored in the database as live. Then, for example, if you are selling products on your website, your customers will have entered some personal information like the name, address, credit card details, etc. That information will be stored on the database as well. So basically, whatever that is happening on your website will be stored on your site's database. Now, for example, if you are designing the customer account page of your website and you have hundreds of customers, do you create hundreds of pages on your website for each customer? No, right? If you do that, you will need to key in all the variables like the name, the product details, everything they bought, and whatever one by one. And that's called static content. If you use dynamic content, all you need to do is to create one page on your website, and using some codes, you draw each individual customer's information from the database and display it on that page. The process of drawing out information from the database to be displayed on your web page, it's called displaying dynamic content. You wouldn't need to care much about this because WooCommerce has created a platform to help you draw that information from your database. But that's the general idea. Next, we need to talk about custom views. To easily understand custom views, it is basically a view that you create so that you can insert content to be stored on the database so that you can use it later on. Okay, now that you understand what dynamic content is and a little bit about custom views, let me start off by giving you an intro and a walkthrough behind the scenes of this single product. So as you can see, this is the single product page for this carved knife, and if you look at the description, there is nothing here. I haven't done much editing over on this page. All I did was just to add a product image and another image for the product gallery, as you can see over here. So nothing else is added to this product page. I've not done any special amendments to this page. It's just that I've created this as a variable product that comes with a black and brown handle, as you can see over here. Then the next question is, where do I get all these product designs from? For example, this, and this. And the secret is to use hook elements. by Kadence. And again, I would like to reiterate this. You can do this as long as your team allows you to hook elements. For example, GeneratePress, they have some custom hooks, or Blocksy, they have a content block that works exactly like hook elements. So as long as your team allows you to hook elements to pages like a single product page, this will work exactly like how I did it on Kadence. But anyway, for this accordion, as you can see, this is taking information from this hook element, which is right here. The hook that I've added is to place this accordion element right after the add to cart form, which is over here. And as for the display settings, I made this accordion show on single products, and I've selected specifically for this product itself. That's the first hook. And then as for content right here, all the way to the bottom, to this part, these are taken from the second hook element, which is right here. As you can see, these are all static content. So if I were to transform this into a template, I would need to use dynamic content and custom views. So before we talk about dynamic content, let's start with custom views first. To help us create custom views, we need to install a plugin called Advanced Custom Views. So let's go to plugins and add new. And over at the search bar, let's search for Advanced Custom Views. And this is the plugin we need by Delicious Brains. Let's install it and activate. Now, once done, you will see this tab over here called Custom Views. We need to add a new view group. Now, let's call this view group Knife Custom Views. Because we are going to group all the knives in one category, and in that category, we are going to use the same design template. So all the views that will be used will be exactly the same. And that's why I'm naming this Knife Custom Views. If you have a different category of products and you need a different set of custom views, feel free to create a new custom views group. So the first thing we need to do is to identify which are the content that needs custom views. So as we scroll through, I know this content will need to change on different products, this as well, but this can be a static content. These are static as well. Now this header needs a custom view as well, because not all knives are named calf knife. It could be something else for another product. The same goes for these images, this text over here, this as well. This calf knife needs a custom view. This is an image and this needs to be a custom view as well. And all this as well. All this information will be different for other products. And these as well. So the first thing we're going to do is to create a custom view called product name. Over at Advanced Custom Views, let's add a view. Let's name this as product name. As we click away, this will automatically be generated, but you can adjust this view name if you want to. Next, for the view type, I will make this a text area, and I want to make this view required just so that I will not forget to add a product name in the custom view. If I put this as a non-required custom view, it will look weird on the page if I don't add any content in this custom view. And that's why I'm doing this. And I think we are basically done. That's the first custom view we have created. Let's see what we need to do next. So I think across all the other products in this category, this question, what can it be used for, is kind of standard. So I'll keep this as a static content, which can be used across all the products. But what needs to change is the content within it. And as for this, we need a new custom view. So let's add view. Let's say this is what can it be used for? And I don't like this view name because it's too long. So I'll just change it to users. Next, for the view type, the same thing. I will select the text area. I'll make this a required view. And we are basically done. The next view we need is this. All this content needs to change across different products. So I'll add a new view. Let's name it as what it is. And I'll change the view name to cut. The view type, I'll make it to text area, a required view. And that's basically it. Let's first try this out. Let's scroll to the top and hit publish. And there's one more thing I forgot to do, which is this location. I have not specified where this custom views will go to. So I will show this view group if post type is equals to product. If I update this, and if I go to this product and refresh, now all the custom view will appear over here on the single product page. And this is where we will add all the content. So let's take this for a spin. Let's just type some text here, some text here, and some text here. And then let's update this. And nothing will exactly happen unless you edit something over here. So for example, for this accordion, let me open up the list view. This icon list, I want to remove it. As well as this icon list, I want to remove it as well. Let's update this. And if I refresh, all this will be gone. So as you can see, there are no content here except for this. Let me remove it as well. And let's update, refresh. This is gone. Now this is where we will need the dynamic content. If you type any characters to this paragraph, you will see this cylinder shape icon, which is the dynamic content. If you don't see this, you need to go to your Kadence product download page and install this beta version of Blocks Pro, which is on version 1.5.2. I know some of you who didn't get the full bundle do not have this option over here, but I've raised this with Kadence already. I hope they'll release this beta version to you as long as you own Kadence Blocks Pro. Otherwise, I feel it is unfair for you guys. But anyway, this is the plugin you need. If you install that, you'll see this here. Let's click on this dynamic content and let's search for post custom field. And for the content source, we'll leave it as current post because I'm drawing this information from the single product page, which is over here. So let's search for the field called what can it be used for, and let's add dynamic content. Let's remember to remove this character we have added, otherwise it will appear on the template. Next, over here, what can it cut? Let's do the same thing. Add dynamic content, search for post custom field. And for the custom field, let's select what can it cut and add the dynamic content. Remove the character. And let's update this and refresh. And if we open them up, you will see all this gibberish we have added over on this custom fields. So let's make this more presentable. Let's input the same content. What can it be used for? It is used for camping, BBQ, kitchen, fishing. And what can it cut? I'll paste in the text. And let's say this is for meat, fish, vegetables, and even bones. Okay, let's update this and see how it looks like over at the live page. So over here, this is not presentable. We want it to be in a list form. So is this. What we can do on the custom field is to add a HTML tag, which is this BR. And if we add a BR, the rest of the text after this BR will move to the next line. So let's check it out. And as you can see, this is what we want. So let's copy this BR and place it like this. Update, refresh, and here we go. Now next is for this to look presentable. So over here, let's paste in the BR here as well. And let's update, refresh, and here we go. We need one more space over here. So let's add a double BR. And here we go. So do you now understand how custom field works with dynamic content? The goal is to have all these custom fields on every single product page you create so that you can add content to it. And on the design itself, it is taking information from each single product page. I hope you now understand this already. Let's continue with this. The product name for this is carved knife. So let's paste this here. Let's update this. I think we are done with this accordion. Now let's move on to this big design layout. So this carved knife, we need it to be dynamic content, but this is on the previous version of Kadence Blocks Pro. So you don't see the dynamic content. I have to refresh this. And as I highlight this, you will see this dynamic content here. Let me remove this and let me add the dynamic content. Let's search for post custom field and the product name. Let's add dynamic content. Update this, and if you take note of this, previously we do not have a TM here, but on a custom field we have added a TM here, and the dynamic content is taking information from that field. So as I refresh the live page, we will see a TM here. Now we need these 4 images to be dynamic, so let's go back to the field group and let's add a new field. Let's call this feature 1 image. And as for the field type, let's make this an image. And we want this to be required. And as for the instruction, I want to remind myself to have an image of 200 pixels by 200 pixels. So I'll place this here. You will know how this works in a single product page in a while. Let's scroll down and we are done with this. Let me close this up and let's duplicate. Now the thing is, if you don't want this copyright, let's change this text around. Let's change this to feature image 2. And as for this, let's put it like this. Let's scroll down, that's all we need. Let's change this as well to make things consistent. As you can see, we are only allowed to use underscores or dashes for spaces, and that's why you're seeing it like this. Let's close this up as well. Now we need to duplicate another identical view. So let's duplicate. And now as you can see, because the number is at the back, it is generating an incremental number. And this makes our life much easier. Let's duplicate another. And we are done. Now we need the title. So let's add view, feature title 1, make it a text area, required, and we are done. Let's close this view, duplicate number 1, number 2, and we have 4 titles. And next we have this text. So let's add view again, feature text 1, make it a text area, required. Maybe I don't want to make this required. So let's close this, duplicate, another one, and here we go. So let me reorganize them, but first we need to update this. And then right after that, as you hover to the order, if you click and drag, you can reorganize these custom views. So let's move this feature text to number 1, title to this. And the reason for doing this is to make this more organized on your single product page. I will show you what I mean. And here we go. Let's update this again. And if we go to the single product page and refresh, you can see that we have organized this as featured image 1, feature title 1, and text 1. This will go in order of the custom views you have created over here. So let's add some content. For image number 1, it will be this. So let's add image. Let's select the image I've added previously. Select this. As for the featured title, I will copy this and place it here. The featured text will be this. Let me fast forward this process so I won't waste your time. And here we go. We have added all the content in the custom views. Let's update this. And let's go to the template we are creating. So over here, this is static content. And if I open this up, you can see that this is an info box. Same goes for all these others. So let's select this info box and let's open up the settings. Make sure that the block is selected and let's go to media settings. For the image, we want to delete this and let's click on this dynamic image, enable dynamic image. Let's source the image from a post custom view and feature image 1. And we are done with this. Don't worry that the image is not showing up. It will show up on the live page. This as well. Let's delete this, add dynamic content, post custom view, feature title 1, add dynamic content. As for this, let's delete, add dynamic content, post custom view, select the custom view as feature text 1, add dynamic content. And we are done for this info box. Let me speed up the process for adding this other dynamic content, but before that, I forgot to mention one thing. If you go to the single product page, and if you go to the featured image, remember, this is the instructions we have added. So whatever content you want consistency with, you need to add instructions. Just as a reminder for you because you may forget this. So let me speed up the process since it's repetitive. And now let me take a pause here because as you can see, if we have this settings on and we have this list view on, you can't basically see the dynamic content. If that happens, close the settings, close the list view, and you'll see the dynamic content here. And can you already grasp the idea here? This is all repetitive. Whatever content that you think you need to change if you create a new product, all you need to do is to add a custom view and make sure that it appears on your single product page. And from there, you can add all the content, and using the templates, you can draw all the content from the single product page. That's how simple it is. But let me continue with this. As you can see, this is static content. Carve Knife TM is basically the product name. So let's add a dynamic content, custom view, product name. And up to here, let us update first and see if it works. So as you can see, all these are in place. All these are dynamic content. And for example, if you want to change this for a firmware group to something else, let's say this is feature number 2. Let's see if it's really drawing information from here. If you want to change it to a better grip, this is just for us to see if the custom view and the dynamic content is working. So here we go for a better grip, and all our dynamic content is working. Now let me continue on with the rest. This image needs to be a dynamic content as well. But the problem is, if we add the image block from the default WordPress editor, there is no way for us to add a dynamic image. We gotta use something else from Kadence. So let's add a new block, browse all. Let's add an image overlay, for example, and let's open up the settings. As you can see here, we can add a dynamic image here. Let's enable this. But for now, we have not created a custom field for this dimension image. Let's go do that. Let's go to the custom field tab and let's add a new field. Let's name this field as knife dimension. And for the field type, I will make it an image. And for the instructions, I will paste this in. I want to remind myself to have an image dimension of 1000 by 374 pixels. And I want it to be in PNG and having a transparent background. I want this to be required. And that's basically it. Let's update this. And whenever you update the field group, over at the template, you need to update this as well and refresh. Otherwise, the dynamic content may not capture the new field. So let's select this image overlay block. And as for the dynamic image, let's search for post custom field and knife dimension. And I want to remove all the overlay settings. Let's turn this transparent because if you hover, they have this orange overlay by default. I want to make this transparent. So let's turn this to 0 and the overlay will be gone. Next, we can see there is this title and subtitle. We don't need that. Under the title settings, let's close this off. And as for the subtitle, let's close this off as well so that you won't see any text here. And on a hover image, let's make this static. Let's update this and let's add some content to the custom field. If we scroll down, we will not see the new custom field we've added. So let's refresh. And there we go. Let's add a new image. This is the image we've previously created. Let's select this, update, refresh, and here we go. Now we see all this border over here. We want to change that. Let's click on this under border settings. The border thickness, let's put this as 0. And I think now we have a problem because as you can see, there is no way for us to make the background of the image transparent. Maybe this will help. Let's try this. And yep, this is the problem we are facing. I hope you learned from this as well, so let's not use this image overlay. Let's instead use something called info box. And then for the container settings, let's change the container background to transparent. For the hover as well, let's change the hover background because right now, as you can see, as I hover, there's a background over here. Let's turn that to transparent as well. And the hover background be gone. Next, let's close the settings. Let's go to media settings. For the media type, let's turn this to an image. And as you can see here, we can also add a dynamic image, enable dynamic image, select the source, post custom field, and then knife dimension. And we're done. Now the thing is, we don't want the title and the text. So under title settings, let's toggle this off. The text settings, let's toggle this off as well. And let's update this, refresh. And here we go. I think there are a lot of padding around this, so it doesn't look as big as this. Let's go to the media padding. Let's turn this to 0. And as you can see, the image expands. Let's update again and refresh. And there are more hidden padding. So let's search for that. Let's go to container settings. Under the container padding, let's put this as 0. Update, refresh. And there we go. It's almost the size of the static image. So let's remove the static image. Update, refresh. And we have a dynamic image here. So the same thing is going to happen to all this. We're going to create new custom fields for this as well as for this. So it is a repetitive process and I don't want to waste your time. So I will speed this up, but feel free to slow down this video so you'll capture every single step. So let's go. And we are basically done. Let me first update this single product page. And let's refresh this. And we are done. All these now are basically dynamic content, and this will be used on other products. Let me show you how. Okay, now let's check this out. I haven't added any category to this website, so every product that I create will be uncategorized. Now let's add a new category. You can either click on this, or you can visit products and categories. Now let's give our new category a name. Let's say it is knife. I'll add a simple description. Let's say it is best knife collections. And let's add a new category. Now let's open up all the products I have. I basically created a total of 3 products. And let's say if I edit the calf knife product and I put this in the knife category, and let's update. And let's refresh and see what's happening. Everything seems good. That's cool, but what about the other products? How about this? Let's copy link and let's open up a new tab here. As you can see, this is very basic. It doesn't have the design elements like calf knife. So let's take a look at what is in the product editor. As we scroll down, we have all these custom fields, but we should have the design elements there, even if the custom fields are blank. So how do we do that? Let's head over to this hook element and let's click on this element settings and let's expand this display settings. Let's leave it as single products. And as for this, let's select group, product categories. You see the knife category is not available yet. That's because we have not refreshed this page after we have created the new category. So let's update this first and refresh. Now let's open up the display settings again. And as you can see, we have the knife category here. Let's click on this and let's update. And let's see if I'm right, if all the design elements will display. Unfortunately, no. So let's see what's happening. Let's say we add all the product details in the custom fields. Now these are all the details for the accordion, so let's edit the accordion element first. Let's go to display settings, single products, group, product categories. The same thing here, we gotta update this page. And here we go, knife. Let's update this. Now I've discovered the problem. Let's go over to the single product page. If I don't group this product to the knife category, the design element would not show. So as we can see here, because we have created the custom fields as required, if we don't have any value in these custom fields, the single product page will not update. And that's what's happening here. So let me quickly add all these details in here so that we can update this page. And if you want to follow along, I've left a link in the description for you to download all the product images. And here we go, let us update this. And let us refresh this page. And let's check it out. We have this here. And we have all these details from the custom fields over on a single product page. And this looks beautiful with just some details added to this single product. Now, one thing to note is that if you want to create different templates for other categories, you can do the same design elements, but what you need to change is this display settings. Under the single products, and you select by group and product categories, you need to select the other category in order for whatever design over here to be shown on the single product page of the other category. That's what you need to take note of. The same goes for the other hook element. It's all about playing around with the element settings. And over at the field group, the same thing over here. Currently, all these custom fields will be displayed on all the products because we have selected post type as product. But if you want a field group that is specific to a category, you need to change this from post type to post taxonomy, and it's equals to the knife category here. If you have created other categories, it will be shown up here. So let's say that I select this knife category and let me update this. And if we go to all the products, let's select one that is not categorized under the knife category. So let me refresh this first. As you can see, the only one that is not under the knife category is this other knife here. So let's edit this. Now the thing is, you will not see all the custom fields here because this is not under the knife category. And as soon as I check this, you will see all the custom fields displaying. So that's how it works. Thank you for making it this far. You are truly awesome. I hope with this knowledge you have right now, you can do something amazing for your WooCommerce stores and hopefully build trust with your customers and increase your sales conversion. And if this tutorial helped you, I hope to have earned a thumbs up from you. Anyway, at the top right is the playlist for WooCommerce that will continuously be updated, so any new WooCommerce tutorials I do will be included in that playlist. Feel free to check it out or maybe save the link somewhere. And if you're struggling with page speed, the other playlist that I recommend is at the bottom. Thank you so much for your support. Stay cool and stay safe.